Achilles might be the greatest warrior in all of Western literature. He was presented two fates. Fate number one was where he could live a long life with a family who loved him, but the catch was his name would be forgotten when they died and he died. Fate number two, short life, but a glorious one, where he would die in battle during the Trojan War, but his name will be remembered as one of the greatest warriors of all time. Needless to say, here we are 3,000 years later, still talking about him, so he chose that second fate. But the most interesting part about this character in time was not when he was alive. Actually, it was when he was dead. You see, in Homer's Odyssey, Odysseus travels down into the underworld. And when he travels down there, he finds an undead Achilles in the underworld. In fact, he told Odysseus, saying that, I would rather be a poor laborer with no lands to my name at all, but be alive than to be king of the dead. So think about this for a sec. Why is it that one person can achieve everything that he wanted to achieve and more, but once it is already said and done, he regrets the price he had to pay to get him there? Chapter 1, why do humans want to be remembered? So why do humans fear being forgotten? Think about it this way. All of us are going to die. Now, as bleak as that sounds, the Greeks understood this. They even called this kleos, where a person is remembered through their reputation, through the form of stories. And Achilles understood this. Now, in modern world and modern times, we have that, right? And we have that in the form of the desire to gain a reputation, to go after wealth, to have our name on a company, to get more followers. All of this is a form of glory, at least the way we see it, and the way we want to be remembered. Now, don't get me wrong, all that is great, right? And I really believe that ambition can create some beautiful things in this world. And all of these people in the past have really contributed to our society. But the moment you let the desire to be seen by others outweigh you actually living life, that is a recipe for disaster. So I'm going to present to you a couple ideas, and I would love to hear your thoughts about this. Number one is, think about our motives, right? Are we trying to serve people, or are we just trying to prove that we exist? Because if we are actually trying to serve people with our work, with our actions, does it really matter if we get recognized or not? Because if we're trying to serve people, is it for ourselves or is it for them? Because if it's for them, is there really a need to be recognized? And so I try to question everything in my life. I try to question, why did I do something? Why do I have the desire to do something? And hopefully it comes from a genuine, good place in my heart. So question everything that you do, and question your true desires of why you want to do something. Chapter number 2, Achilles could have lived two lives. Achilles didn't choose between success and failure with the two outcomes that could have happened in his life. You see, he was really choosing between two successful lives. But it is how you define success is where it gets a little bit interesting. Whenever we choose some sort of great ambition in life, this is our meaning in life. And so in the modern world, we all will be faced with some sort of ambition that we want to achieve. And with that ambition, we must also understand the sacrifices it takes to get there. And if it's going to cost us our time, our health, our presence, our relationships, we have to understand, is it all worth it in pursuit of this? So question everything, think about what creates meaning in your life. And when it comes to you pursuing your ambition, is the sacrifices worth it in exchange for this ambition? Chapter 3, Achilles still chose death. Achilles knew that he was going to die, right? He knew that he was going to die, but he still chose it anyway. Why? Why do people make self-destructive decisions? It doesn't make sense, right? Logically. Why would people do so? But sometimes when emotion and identity gets blended into the two, we are often irrational, right? Hector! Hector! this can be in the form of staying in a job or work longer than you should because you would not know who you are if you didn't do it. It could be you continuing to do something that's uncomfortable to the point where it's self-punishment. You think it's commitment when it could be commitment, but it might be just fear wearing armor. So the moment we are able to identify that perhaps we are making an irrational decision and that our decisions are being clouded, we can better understand our human nature and our development on why we do such a thing. So is a person really free in making his own decision? Is the person really free to make their decision on their own, based off of free will, rather than being unable to see themselves doing anything else? But if you have the ability to be self-aware, you understand that, okay, is this what I want, right? Is this what I want? If you're going to choose greatness, let it be because you want it, not because you are doing it irrationally and from the fear of being ordinary. Chapter 4, the man who won glory but wanted life back. So the most important thing that happened to Achilles actually happens after his death. You see, when Odysseus travels down to the underworld, he finds Achilles. Achilles does not accept any praise that Odysseus wants to give him. He says that he would rather be a laborer to a poor man than be king of the dead. Why? Because a laborer can still eat, wake up, change his mind, participate in life. Whereas you may be a mighty king, but you're dead. And you're king of the dead. And glory is really only celebrated amongst the living. Achilles didn't have that anymore. So let me propose a question to you. Who is more free? Is the king who cannot act on anything more free than the person who can make a decision, who can wake up tomorrow, who can still participate in life? Who is more free? I think this guy, right? So our agency in life and where we are, what we're doing, that is fundamentally more important than status itself. Chapter 5, the value of an ordinary life. You see, an ordinary life means that we have ordinary meals, ordinary relationships, ordinary work. Stuff that generally would not enter into the history books. Yet, all of these ordinary tasks is something that Achilles can no longer do. He can't wake up, he can't breathe, he can't have a conversation with his father, his friends. I mean, you can't really seize the day if you're dead, can you? So don't get me wrong over here. It's great to have ambition. It's great to go after different achievements. But you need to be present in the process. Your life needs to have meaning in the process, right? Because if you are just goal-oriented and fixated onto this achievement, the moment it happens, you're like, oh my God, like what next? What next? Right? There has to be some level of contentment and acceptance. And I feel like that is so important for all of us to practice whenever we are going after big dreams. So what is the importance of having an extraordinary life if you are unable to be present while living it? Chapter 6, the closeout. Homer is not trying to tell us to reject ambition over here. I believe Homer is actually trying to give us a different perspective. See, with that underworld scene, it gives us a new look on what Achilles is and what glory means to a person. Because when he was alive, his ambition was real, his courage was real, his love was real, his grief was real. And all of that made him very human, right? You see, this helps us think about not only what we want to accomplish, but who we want to love, what do we want to do, what do we want to stay capable for, and what is meaning in our own lives. So hopefully we can learn a little bit from Homer and Achilles and learn that we must try to preserve our capabilities and try to preserve the life that we love, and hopefully be present enough to enjoy it and try to do our very best to make sure that we live a meaningful life. And a meaningful life is not just a life to be remembered, it is a life that was lived and lived properly.